Yeah, hello everyone. Today we have Jugal Shahdadpuri with us, and Jugal is from Bombay Power Company. Welcome to the chat, Jugal. So, Jugal, can you just briefly share what exactly is your offering within the whole EV charging landscape, and who are your customers?
Right. So we offer EV charging solutions, both AC and DC. Primarily, we're in the four-wheeler space right now.
Mhm.
Uh, the reason being that, as we all know, the vehicle connector guns are standardized in four-wheeler segment when it comes to Type 2 or CCS2. Not the same with two and three-wheeler segments. So we're anticipating some standardization in two and three-wheeler segments as well very soon, and then obviously we'll be in that space as well. So apart from the product, we also offer a great service mix when it comes to creating the electrical diagrams of how we're going to be installing EV chargers, getting all the licensing, NOCs, paperwork, government clearances, all of that done. In case somebody wants to create a commercial charging station somewhere, we also create feasibility reports for them. As a matter of fact, we can also connect people to uh, you know companies that are looking to charge their vehicles or retail customers that are looking to charge their vehicles at particular locations. So we also do that demand and supply integration that way.
All right, all right. And what does your typical customer profile look like, and what are the various customer segments you interact with and provide your offering?
Right. So we're in four target market spaces at present. The first being real estate sector, where we work with builders, wherein we encourage builders to install EV chargers in new projects, residential, commercial, industrial, whatever kind of projects they're looking at. Secondly, we work with ride aggregators, fleet companies. Let's say if an EV taxi company or an EV logistics company wants to open an EV charging station somewhere, then we do that for them. Third is we participate in government tenders. As a matter of fact, we have a BMC project going on right now in Mumbai, wherein we have seven BMC pay and parking lots where we are installing EV chargers.
Okay.
And lastly, we are also in the B2C space, wherein if somebody wants a loose charger, where we are more than happy to do that as well. We've got some inquiries for farmhouses, wherein people have primary residences in Mumbai, but कहीं पर दूर farm house है and they're looking for a secondary charger. So we do that also. So these are the four spaces that we typically work
All right. And Jugal, you mentioned about real estate developers and housing societies being one of your primary target audience. So, are there any specific regulatory norms that govern the installation and the EV charging operations in real estate projects?
in. As a matter of fact, yes. Um, there are lots of regulations that one has to comply with when they're thinking of installing an EV charging station within city limits or even beyond city limits. So at present, we don't see so much conformity to the guidelines that are in place, by various governments, whether it is fire authorities, electrical authorities, local self-government bodies. But it is highly essential that charging infra companies like ourselves, we look into compliance, we look into conformity for of all these regulations. So there are central regulations, there are state regulations, and there are obviously local regulations as well. Center obviously comes from the state, comes from the center. State is particular state wise. You can get to know what are the incentives, what are the development plans of the particular state, and local is typically for knowing how you're supposed to install an EV charger, the typical do's, the typical don'ts, where you can install an EV charger, where you cannot install an EV charger, what should be the kind of safety, paraphernalia that needs to be in place when you're installing an EV charger. How is it that you're supposed to use an EV charger? What are the incentives, financial, non-financial, that you can get? So yes, there's a plethora of regulations and guidelines that revolve around EV charging infrastructure.
All right. And so these regulations, they come from public utility companies like electricity, fire departments, or from some other bodies. And if you can just share an example of, a couple of regulations that uh, probably a real estate developer would need to keep in mind before he starts the activity of EV charging or provides his service to his residents?
Right, absolutely. So, firstly, I'll start from the center. So, CERC has given a provision wherein anyone who wants to install an EV charger, they can apply for a separate power meter, wherein they would get subsidized power rates. We normally call it an EV meter or a green meter when we're applying with any power distribution company. So that is a facility you can take benefit from because you get cheaper power rates, even cheaper than residential. Apart from that, there can be some subsidies your individual states that your states can offer you. For example, let's say you're planning to install a commercial EV charging station on a national highway, and if you check your particular state guidelines, you may be able to get some demand incentives in terms of subsidies. As an example, I'll tell you, if you install rooftop solar panels on top of your EV charging systems, then you get good subsidies in the state of Maharashtra. And lastly, coming to local laws would, I think, pertain from location to location, from city to city. If I speak primarily about Mumbai, then there are lots of fire guidelines, particularly that is the first point of concern regarding where you can install an EV charger, where you cannot install an EV charger. I'll tell you a little bit more about this. So, in metro cities, we will observe that there are vertical parkings, there are multi-story parkings rather than horizontal parkings. We don't have so much space to have so many stilt parkings anymore, so we go with multi-story parkings. Now, multi-story parkings can be of two types. Either they can be mechanized parkings or they can be non-mechanized parkings. Fire department in Mumbai has strictly disallowed EV charger installation within mechanized parkings. If you actually check the market, you will find products that go along with your mechanized parking, that you can install along with your mechanized parking. There are products available in the market, but fire department strictly disallows installation and usage of that.
Okay.
Second is if you have a non-mechanized parking space, which means you have a podium space, then you can install EV chargers only on three floors. That is on the first basement, ground floor, and first podium. In case you have higher podiums or lower basements, EV charger installation in those floors is strictly disallowed. So these are some of the regulations that you need to keep in mind. Um, out of the many other being in place.
All right, all right. So let's say I am a potential EV buyer, let's say a four-wheeler. So I'll obviously assume that the charger given by let's say for example I purchase a Nexon, the charger given by Tata, so I would want it to get it installed in my parking space. So as a buyer, what do I need to be aware of before I buy an EV? And then also, there's the hesitation, especially in metros, that I'll probably have to discuss with the management of the society in which I'm residing. So, what do you suggest to such buyers, who are concerned about home charging, uh, from a charging standpoint and from a regulatory standpoint?
So, from the point of view of an individual EV buyer, what an individual EV buyer needs to do after buying an EV, you need to get in touch with your housing society committee, or let's say your builder, whoever is managing the property at the particular point, and you need to ask these people to get in touch with professional electric vehicle charging infrastructure companies, like for example ourselves. Why is it that you need to do? Because the compliance cost of installing individual chargers and doing compliance as an individual user just for yourself, that's going to be too high for every individual. Secondly, individuals may not exactly know what are the real regulations behind, behind real estate, behind electric vehicle charging. So the way I look at it is, EV charging is a great mixture between the automobile and the real estate sector. So you need to understand both, that when you're getting an automobile, you're ultimately parking it in your real estate structure. So your EV charging guidelines need to coincide with what the real estate guidelines are in place. So the best idea is is to encourage your housing society or your real estate developer to contact a professional EV charging company. They'll be coming to your site. They will undertake a site visit and chart out the layout, how you're going to install EV chargers, suggest you your ideal products, get in all the clearances for you, do the timely compliances for you, because it's not just a one-time compliance. You have to keep submitting your fitness reports every 6 months. So there also is a timely compliance attached to it. So as an individual, if you're simply buying an EV and you're wanting to install your automobile charger, that's going to be too much of a hassle mentally and too much of a burden financially on you. So while at present we are in a place of tussle, really, that individual EV buyers are just wanting to install their chargers, but at the same time, real estate knows that we cannot allow so many EV chargers to be installed in one parking lot because of whatever guidelines there are in place, and even because of electrical and civil safety reasons. So yes, we are at a point of tussle, but EV buyers need to understand that electric vehicle charging will come as an amenity to you in your building. It is not something that you have to provide for yourself, only particularly for your vehicle. So that's the idea behind it.
All right, I understand. So from what I gather, uh, probably in the future, companies like Tatas and Mahindras, they might not provide you with a charger upfront because there might not be a direct use case for them, and it might be provided as an add-on component. You can pay
They've
extra.
already discontinued. A lot of dealerships have already discontinued. If I tell you, I've seen dealerships in Mumbai. I've seen a couple of dealerships in Madhya Pradesh. They have completely discontinued giving a bundled charger with your vehicle. In case you want one, you can pay for it and you can get it. But
All
you
right.
know, the basic product offering does not include the bundled charge.
Okay.
Automobile companies initially began offering a charger because people came to them with the idea of buying an EV, and they had this concern कि यार मैं EV ले तो लूंगा, इसको charge कैसे करूंगा? So
Hmm.
might as well they bundled a charger along with the vehicle. But now that the regulations have kicked in, we need to understand that EV charging infrastructure falls under the purview of real estate and infrastructure, civil infrastructure, not in the purview of automobiles.
Right, right.
So yeah, that's all.
All right. And Jugal, in terms of your business model, so I mean, how exactly does it work? Let's say you reach out to a real estate developer or to a fleet operator. Is there an upfront setup fee, and then you have a an ongoing model with them? How does it work?
So yes, for different target markets, we have different models. When it comes to fleet operators, we operate in two models. One is the CapEx model, second is the OpEx model. In case a particular fleet company wants to have a completely captive charging station and they have a land in place, or they've taken a land on rent and they want a completely captive charging station, then obviously we're always open for CapEx model. Otherwise, we do not shy away from uh, you know going with the OpEx model for fleet operators for a couple of reasons. One is the kind of utility ratio that fleet companies give you. You can have a predictable ROI on your investment. And secondly, fleet companies also give you monthly minimum guarantees. So we are working with a couple of fleet companies within Maharashtra. There are some taxi companies as well as there are some logistics companies, logistics EV companies that we are in discussions with. So when it comes to fleet, both the options are available. When it comes to real estate developers, typically we are at present only in the capex model. I don't see us getting into the opex model anytime soon as well. The reason being, EV chargers need to be installed in buildings as an amenity to the residents or to the members, as I say. It is not something that you can earn money from or create a lucrative business out of, very frankly. Couple of reasons for that being, uh, till the time you reach that volume of EVs in your compound, that you can think of a sustainable ROI. That it's going to be around 2, 3, 4 years in my anticipation right now. Secondly, how much you can charge a resident residing in a building who's a member of your society. there's always going to be very limited potential to earn to charge a premium to the resident of the building in order to earn money. So residents of the building would always want to consume at cost and not at price. So which creates little to no benefit of going on the OpEx model with residents. The way I look at it is when I speak with developers, what I tell them that a home buyer is going to need electricity in his house and at the same time in the parking lot for their electric vehicles. So this needs to be added as a common amenity. And although it is not 100% compulsion till date, till now, I think the last number that I've read is somewhere around 20% of your parking. Ministry of Environment and Forest asks you to keep your parking EV ready. Um, so that's a bare minimum that builders should do. But if somebody wants to go beyond that, that's obviously very very encouraging. And there are also organizations like IGBC, Indian Green Building Council, which encourage you for opting green solutions in building, EV chargers being one of them. So
Right.
yeah, that's what.
All right. But Jugal, there are a couple of companies, who are offering real estate developers to set up, EV charging stations in their premises, like completely free of cost. So, do you see a potential challenge from there, or I mean, do you think, since in your case, in your capex model, the resident would not be or would not prefer to pay any premium on the electricity cost. So do you think that will work out for you in the longer run?
I don't see that backfiring at all. Because firstly, when you look at companies that offer free of EV charges free of charge in housing societies, it is typically a method of acquiring market share by burning cash, very frankly.
Right,
There isn't much lucrative benefit even for companies installing EV chargers when it comes to housing society. The model that these companies work on is that we install EV chargers for free and we charge you a premium per unit, and we try to recover our initial investment and our profit through your regular usage.
right.
Um, Down the line, say about I think about a year ago, even we were contemplating whether we want to get into such kind of a model or not, and we created a study of where all we've seen chargers being installed for free in housing societies, and in about 6 or 7 out of 10 cases, we've realized that after a year or so, these chargers are unoperational. They're not being maintained. They're just mounted idle. Nobody's able to use them. There isn't much utility ratio because ultimately, when a particular project is not lucrative for you, there is very little to no motivation to service it on a regular timeline basis. And secondly, it is not just the product that you have to service. As I mentioned, there are certain timely compliances that you have to keep
Right.
to. And at every step, there is a cost to the business for getting those things done.
Mhm.
And when your charger initially, probably if somebody wants to install just as a matter of creating market share, a lot of companies do it. But let's say 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 15 months down the line, you know you take a look around the country, you'll see so many charging stations just lying unoperational, whether it is in housing societies, whether it is on national highways.
Yes.
Just if you just google the number of chargers that are lying unoperational around the country, just because there is no motivation to service them or maintain them.
No. Right.
So I understand gaining market share is very essential for every company, but you know the backbone of a business is to be financially sustainable.
Mm.
So the kind of model that we've created a great product market mix, which is not very burdening on your pocket. And you can install a lot of a really great deal of infrastructure. If you get in touch with us, we're more than happy to help you with anything. So my appeal to housing societies or to any other organization that wants to install EV chargers would be, just please don't get lured into things that are being offered to you for free. Rather, I would encourage you to sit down, you know, my recommendation to you would be get as many proposals as you can. If you get 10 companies, get proposals from 10 companies, compare A with B, B with C, C with D, D with E, and do the detailed analysis. And you know that is when you will realize what every company is offering, how company A is different than company B, how BPC is the best, how we're offering the best product and service mix. And there have been cases, in Mumbai itself, where builders have given up free options of EV chargers and have opted to purchase from us. There was this particular company which gave an offer of installing a free charger, but the condition to that was you can only charge your vehicle at night. You cannot charge your vehicle during the day. So I think you could only charge your car from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. probably, and during the day the charger would be wouldn't disperse the power. So these are certain catches that host charging station hosts must look into, and they must realize that what is it that they are getting exactly.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jugal, for all the insights and answering all the questions.
Thank you very, very much for this opportunity. It's always great to connect with you, and looking forward to meeting you in person very soon at the ISB campus.
Same here.
And yes, all the best to you also for all the future endeavors.